So aside from cleaning out the shop and still unpacking from last weekend from Hyperfest, I want to do a damage assessment on my car and just go over a few things. Overall, maybe just an update on the shop. Since I posted the shop last, some things have changed for the better. So the first thing that I was gonna go over was the Iron Steed here. So I got actually a couple questions asking about the setup of good old 3500 here. So I'm just gonna go over a brief update of what I have done to the truck and what makes it so great, because this is probably the first and last truck that I'm ever gonna try to own. And I say that because this truck has never let me down. And if it ever does let me down, I will replace the powertrain in this freaking thing 10 times over before ever trying to get another truck. In my opinion, humble opinion, 4th gen Ram is the last generation of good trucks and good Ram trucks. I have seen people actually downgrade from a 5th gen down to a 4th gen because they're such good trucks. So maybe I'm biased, but let's go over the truck real quick. So as we go under the hood of Old Glory right here, we have a 6.7 Cummins. The only thing that I have actually performance-wise done to this truck is a Banks intake. I think you call these the intake horns, and a intake. I think I got this intake with my delete kit. Best thing I ever did to this truck. Other than that, I have a Carly 2.5 inch level on the truck as well. I will say, when I first bought this truck, the previous owner put your typical 2.5 inch level spacer on the actual spring, on top of the spring. If you guys know anything about lifting trucks or lifting in general, you know that if you put a spacer on top of a spring, typically the ride quality does not increase. You're simply just doing it for the height. But when you actually buy a spring that compensates for the extra 2.5 inch lift, it rides a lot better, especially with the external reservoir shocks. This truck is completely changed. As you can see, external reservoir shocks in the back as well, and a big tip. I have a 5-inch exhaust all the way back from the turbo on this truck. This truck has just been great to me. It's been simply maintained like any other vehicle, like you should maintain a vehicle. It's got about 112,000 miles on it. I bought the truck when it had 35,000 miles on it. I deleted it around 65, maybe 70,000 miles. And ever since then, the truck has been absolutely perfect. Knock on wood, the transmission is stock. As long as you maintain your vehicles, I think you'll have very good luck. So maintain your vehicles. Now we can get into the mess of the shop. After Hyperfest, I simply just threw everything in the shop. I'm gonna move some stuff around so I can get access to the race car back there, put some wheels on that car, get it off the lift, put this car on the lift, and then we'll be able to kind of tear into it and see what's going on. This freaking thing is a whole other story. Thankfully, my neighbor right here, who's not at his shop, is a motorcycle specialist. Super knowledgeable guy when it comes to motorcycles. I think I'm gonna take the Steed, or hopefully it will become a Steed, to him whenever he's around and see if he can figure out the issue for me rather than me just chasing my tail, because I'll be honest, I don't know what the hell I'm doing when it comes to motorcycles. Will it start? Why does neutral feel weird? Let's get some wheels on this thing and get this thing rolling out. This car itself needs an entirely separate video to be made about it. I'll be completely honest, it's been on the back burner. There's not necessarily anything that's really holding it up. It's simply just me. But with that being said, in the same hand, if I'm creating content or I'm making videos, then that also kind of influences me to work on the car. I feel like it's relatable when I say that you think about doing something more than you actually take action on doing said thing, and that's this car. Simply saying that you know, making videos surrounding this car is kind of the purpose of why I got the car in the first place anyway, because I feel weird working on it while not documenting it because it's super important to me. But this car has a ton of sentimental value to me, and I want to make sure I'm documenting that along the way. Let's resume the main focus, and that is the orange car behind me, and also figuring out what the hell we're gonna do with this shop. Come on, bro. Nice. Whoa, whoa. Okay. Almost there. Before we get the car on the lift, we should probably fix this weld that I did that was obviously not very good. I'm gonna botch this back up just so it holds together again so we can get my car back on the lift. So I was gonna try to organize the shop a little bit better for this portion of the video, but in all reality, to be completely honest, the shop is not huge. It's pretty crammed in here, and with everything that I have, motors, transmissions, spares, I have a lift in the shop now with 2 cars, and everything else, and all the spare parts, it's getting kind of crammed. Let's get into the shop, and I'll show you guys what I and my brother have done so far. So as you walk into the shop, you see I have a lift now. My brother and I had thrown this in a couple weeks ago. It's an old lift. I don't know the brand of it, but we made it work. It works great. It holds the car, and that's really all that matters. Looking to the left of the shop, as you can see, I have my 2 LSs. I have another workbench. I have a transmission. I have a spare motor over there underneath the tarp. Back here, I have my rear radiator for the competition car. Under that is the radium fuel cell. And behind there in the corner is my SR that's completely disassembled. That SR is not gonna see the light of day for a long time. Short story about that SR, I actually picked that SR up in Tampa about 4 years ago. It had a spun rod bearing, and the previous owner thought that there was way more catastrophic damage to the motor. Like I said, turns out it was a spun bearing. It's a notch top SR. That SR will be sitting on ice for a while because the price of SRs, as you guys know, is just continually going up. That's just a quick walk around of the actual shop. I know it's entirely dirty. I rushed out of here last week to get to Hyperfest, and as I'm kind of working on the car now, I'll make sure to clean up behind me. Damage assessment, as we know, a bent fork and maybe a messed up bolt. Otherwise, looking through everything, it seems like we got away pretty lucky, all things considered. I haven't looked at the back. This is the front. As you can see, the Wise Fab took a nice hit on some dirt. Everything else is pretty much just dirty. This has always been a concern. As you can see, the decent sized gap. The issue that you run into when you move your rack forward on a Z subframe specifically is that you lose the bolt holes and the threads that go through your W brace right here. You need to fabricate, you know, a bracket right here for the bolts to go through. And I haven't done that yet. And my biggest fear has always been this catching on something. And basically this is the last straw. I'm gonna figure something out so I can at least fasten these 2 front bolts of the W brace, because I would really hate for this to catch on something like metal or a manhole cover or something, and then it really screw my whole day up in the car. So I'm gonna figure something out, maybe get somebody in here to weld the bracket up here like I said. Otherwise, I think we got away pretty lucky. I think it's time for some coilovers on this car, so I'm gonna see what I can do. Well, looks like we have the same culprit for the rear. So I'm really not mad. Coilover looks fine. No fluid. All the arms are straight. We got some grass stuck under the subframe. That's really all the damage we had. Don't mind my hanger. I did that myself. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have done that in front of the fan. Why'd I do that? Well, all things considered, if all I did was really bend the forks on the right side of the car on the coilovers, then I pretty much got away pretty good. Good car. We had good luck. Just to give you guys a view of the ISR headers, these things are sick. I did get these extenders from Nisformance, and definitely enough length to extend your O2s. And I did my nifty zip tie trick with hose to keep that away from the header. Same thing on this side as well. Exhaust looks sick. This car is a very simple setup, but after what had happened, and clearly it needs a dang cleaning, so I gotta get a pressure washer in here and go over everything once more, get everything cleaned up. WiseFab, the greatest angle kit to exist in the game. As you can see, the support has seen better days. Nothing some zip ties can't fix. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the progress that I made so far with the car. We'll replace those two forks. We'll see if the car works. There's always obviously something hidden that you don't check, so we gotta look out for that. I'm hoping in the next couple of videos we can push out some things about the competition car, some updates on that and how we can get that ball rolling. I obviously have a lot of things going for the seat time car as well, like the hybrid swap, so I gotta catch you guys up to speed with that as well. Maybe I'll post some fun content with the little scooter here too. And if you guys have any more questions about the rig, please feel free to reach out. I'm kind of in this catch-22 situation with not knowing what direction to head first, kind of wanting to jump in and do everything at the same time, maybe a mixed match of videos. If you guys have any suggestions directly, I'd love to go more in depth on what you guys are actually interested in rather than me just kind of shooting in the dark. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Not too action-packed, but we'll be sure to figure out what our next event here is soon. And I'll see you guys in the next video.